Welcome to The Naked Truth. And now, your host, Bridget Barclay.
Good evening, America, and good morning, a very early morning here in England. Tonight I have Steve Bassett. This is the third attempt. And let me tell you, Steve Bassett is not like Rolex at all. His timing is not very good because of due to technical hitches. So, but without further ado, we have Steve Bassett on, and we're going to get him on straight away. Hello, you at last.
How are you? You are my favorite contactee.
Don't tell Kim Carlsberg that, please.
You guys are right, neck and neck.
Oh, you love. Oh, bless you. Well, thank you. Have you finished your dinner now? Have you finished? Right.
Yeah, I'll get to it.
Now for the sensible talk. You need your energy. Anyway, right. Yes. So Steve Bassett, we will give you a little intro. Not that you need any intro, Steve, whatsoever. Steve Bassett is a political activist. He's executive director of the Paradigm Research Group, founded in 1996 to end the government-imposed embargo on the truth behind the extraterrestrial-related phenomena. He has lectured all around the world, and haven't you just? Extensively covered by national and international media, including CNN, Fox News, and Washington Post, New York Times, and I should imagine absolutely everything right now. Steve, God knows how many documentaries you have done, and also, more importantly as well, in 2023, Steve co-founded the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance in Los Angeles. Yes. A new media eccentric organization working with Alliance and working within the UAP, I hate that, I'm going to say UFO and ET research arena, with writers, directors who are going to get it right and on point, might I say, and producers working with every facet of the globe in the entertainment industry on the UFO phenomena. So thank you, Steve, for being with us yet again. And thank you, my true friend, for being so lovely.
I've got to get better lighting. You know, something's not right with my lighting. I mean, it's a good ring light, but you've got better lighting, and I got to.
Oh shit! Sorry. Pardon me, English. I forgot to put my lighting on. Oh, hang on a minute. Now it's going to be Hollywood. Now it's going to be Hollywood, baby. Yeah.
All right, now we're a little more alike. You know, I kind of like the soft lighting before. Okay. Hey, let's face it. We're all trying to get better production values. That's what we look for.
Well, listen, my early days production, I think with Nick Pope, you could barely see it. Look like some seedy little joint in the back end of the street. But anyway.
Now the podcasts all have these super fancy graphics, CGI stuff in the beginning, right? Everybody's looking great.
Just need books on UFOs.
We're competing libraries here.
Yeah, I thought they were DVDs when I looked. Actually, so they look like kind of DVD. No. But you need to get not DVDs. I meant VHS. They look like VHS.
I have some over here.
My VHS are over there. Yeah, and
ancient
anyway,
stuff, but very important.
Well, when I had you on before, I kind of remember that we went on very many different angles, not the sort of like the flat route of the world and everything, but I remember you talking about being sort of like going over a hill and then having the wow factor of what's really happening. So how are you, and how are your emails going right now with everybody?
I'm getting a lot of junk emails, spam emails, requests for 8,000 AI deals. The usual stuff. I think what I was talking about before was talking about that Martin Luther King quote where he talks about, I've been to the mountaintop, I've seen the other side. I mean, I get there with you. My plan is to get there with you. But look.
You got to get to him?
I don't. I'm sure that
technical hitch
from the UK, even from inside the US, people are confused. Confused all. Okay, it must be seem what I won't blame people for thinking we've had this huge setback and oh Lord, the arrow, this arrow.
Oh, technical hitch.
It was put out by the. No, that's not what's going on. we have never been closer to getting confirmation of the ET presence. More of this happened in the last 7 years than the previous 70. And the issue is out. It's now fully in play. There are many members of the U.S. Congress who know there's an extraterrestrial presence. If they didn't already, they're not going to change their mind. There are a number of them that are calling, literally speaking out directly about it, particularly in the House. They set up the first caucus, UAP caucus in history. And the reason they were able to do that because UFO has the stigma of all those decades. So UAP,
yeah, of course,
makes it easier for the politicians. That's why we introduced that term. We're not trying to troll UFO or throw shade on it, but we needed a term that was easier for the establishment to use. UAP caucus. 30 years ago, people would have, are you mad? There's no way we're going to get that. We had a major attempt to get what amounted to the final legislation package that would have set the stage for the information to come out. That was pushed back on by certain self-interested parties. But then the Senate, led by Chuck Schumer, made it clear they're not going to give up. Right? They're going to keep at it. They're going to push on it. So nobody in high position in our Congress believed that Arrow report at all. This was a last-ditch effort by the Department of Defense, kind of a panic thing. We literally saw the end of the truth embargo coming. And they thought, let's see if we can do what we did in 1969. We'll get, and I feel bad for him, Dr. Kirkpatrick, who's leaving anyway. He's totally disgusted. That whole issue has driven him nuts. Let's get him to sign off on a grotesquely bogus report that will tell the media there's nothing to it. They'll stop writing articles and the people go back to work. No. What happened was this report was savaged across the internet worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're now waiting on potentially the reintroduction of the UAP Disclosure Act, note that name, possibly as a standalone bill.
Ooh, okay.
We anticipate, more witnesses are coming forward. The Senate Intel Committee could hold a hearing anytime it wants, though there are a lot of complicating factors. And so we're standing right across from the finish line. We can't quite step over yet. A few things have to happen, but that's how close we are. So the phrase I like to use is that the managers of the truth embargo have already lost. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah, I think we'll always have the last laugh. So I think we will. I think the truth seekers, and I mean, I think we are good troublemakers. And I think we are all very good troublemakers and we won't give up. You haven't, I haven't, and all of the rest before us and behind us haven't, It just, I suppose it did help with the military, the pilots going present with, footage. So, we do have a lot to thank for them. And, it would help if more witnesses would come forward. And I do believe they are coming forward. Yeah.
Yes. We need to get them in front of a committee. We need to get them in front of the Intel Committee with a lot of cameras pointed at them. That's when things will turn white hot. And that is the decision. That's the only real decision left in terms of setting up for disclosure from our president, is just that hearing. And that the decision rests in the hands of Senator Mark Warner, a fine man, longtime public servant, chairman of the committee from Virginia. And he could do it anytime he wants to, but the situation in the U.S. right now is, and the world is, not surprisingly, dire as always.
I think you've got the upper hand over there as opposed to we have over here in England for sure. We don't.
UK defers to us. It's not that they're hell bent on holding on to this. The UK is deferring to us, the great World War II ally, the nuclear power that defended the West and the democracies from the communist threats. They're not going to jump ahead in line. And so they're letting us go through this. I don't hold that against the UK at all.
No, well, things are happening here in the US because, in England. Last week, when we weren't able to get you on, afterwards I went outside because I always stay awake for a little bit. Went outside and I watched something in the sky, And it reminded me straight away of when I was at ESETI Ranch. He did the same sort of action at ESETI Ranch, and it was just a white light and it just was gliding. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. Came in, got my binoculars, saw it through my binoculars, and I went, wait there, wait there, wait there. Went to go and get the night vision, couldn't get the night vision to work, went back out again. That one I saw go, but something grabbed my attention over to the right. And then this, and I had it look through the binoculars, this white light, big white light, just moved. And at that point, I had my phone with me and I had it videoed and I was videoing it. So this white light just then moved and then it just slowed down, went boo, up. So I got it on video. So there you go. That's after me and you spoke last week. So I need to get out like at 3 a.m. in the morning more often, I think.
So you were seeing that on the night vision?
No, I saw that with well, I pointed my camera and I was looking up and watching it, but I could see it through my screen. So yeah, I'll
always
give it
had
to
your
people.
night vision camera nice and all polished
Charged.
and cleaned up and sitting there right by the door all the time.
Hey, listen, I never have my camera, and I thought, no, this time I'll go and get my camera, and then I videoed it. So yeah, at least I do. So
that's something.
Yeah.
But you want to get some night vision stuff, particularly if you have a night vision camera.
I've got
Do you
that.
have a night vision camera? Is it actually a camera? Okay.
Yeah.
That's the good stuff. You got to get it. Always have it ready.
What
Always with you.
haven't I got, Steve?
You probably got a lot of stuff already.
Yeah, I certainly do. Yeah. So yeah, that was quite interesting. So yeah, so more and more people are starting to video. More and more people starting to, and it's funny because it was just like, oh, I think I better video this. And I did, and thank you. But it was like ESETI Ranch, very intelligent, moving, and then it stopped, and then boom, went up, and I was like, okay, because it grabbed my attention. But anyways, let's not talk about that. We've finished with that now, but things are going on. Right, so in regards to the Pentagon release report then, and the sort of like the total load to it and stuff, so what else are you thinking that they might fabricate or come up and say that this is just absolute nonsense?
Oh, well, the one thing I'm asking people to look for, because if I was running the Truth Embargo Command Center, and I've just popped out this ridiculous, ludicrous report that has had the effect. One thing it did do, and I'm not surprised, is that the amount of media coverage has fallen off like 90%. Right? Really? Some certain publications that are always on it are publishing, and I'm logging these in. I'm logging in the quality professional articles. I have over 15,000 on my website linked that you can go read. It's just fallen 90% because the Times, the Washington Post, all the major papers, they feel like they can take a rest. They're getting a break. It's like, okay, they said there's nothing. Okay, because
not everyone's interested. Oh shit, that bullshit again.
Well, they always feel awkward they're putting out decent articles. There's been tons of quality journalism. Yeah. Not investigatory journalism, but coverage of everything that's going on. But they always feel a little queasy about it, right?
That Ross Carhart's really good, isn't he? Oh my gosh, I think he's really good. Yeah, he's really good. You need to get him on your team.
And like News Nation, Debrief, they're still writing.
Really good.
A lot of the standard media have stepped back to take a breath. Now, I'm not surprised at that. The internet, on the other hand, never sleeps. It's continuing to just boom, boom, bada, bing, boom, ripping this thing up. So they bought a little bit of time. Now, what they might do, and I ask people to watch for it. If I was the head guy, I would arrange for some military people with legitimate military background to suddenly pop up with some interesting information that, in fact, had some truth to it, but it was also loaded with BS, deliberately to confuse and undermine the situation. They've done this for years. There's nothing new about it. So I ask people, be careful about new witnesses. I'm not saying you just immediately assume they're not legit. Yep. It's not that hard usually. The witnesses that are legit have some pretty straightforward, sober information that kind of adds up. The ones that I'm worried about are the ones that come out with pretty good credentials and then go off into deep left field with some really exotic stuff. That's where you need to be careful, because I think they might be doing that.
But it is exotic stuff. It is exotic stuff, isn't it? Though what they're witnessing and what they're seeing, and so how can they how can they not come up with exotic stuff when they've got it flying next to them, when they can say that they've got, no wings, no fewlage, there's, I think who was it? Ryan Graves says these things are something so special,
Sure.
wow, they really are. He said it in a nutshell. They've not got no wings on this craft, no propellers, no exhaust coming out the back. These things are, are absolutely special. They are.
True, but exotic is relative. In other words, compared to my world and your world, something's got to be really exotic before I see it as exotic. And so the fact that they're wingless, not particularly hot, not hot, cold objects that can fly thousands of miles an hour, at least relative to our ability to calculate space and time, that's not exotic anymore. Exotic is time traveling, space soldiers flying through the galaxy and that kind of stuff, and other things like that. So there's a degree
so all of my sightings are absolute shit now. Oh my god. Okay, that's great.
they're normal.
They're normal.
You know how many people are?
Well, they are normal. They are normal because I've had them happen all my life.
How many people have to have contact before it becomes normal? It's like, I believe based upon the number of reports that have been filed, most of which are not even public, they've accumulated in files of researchers, and the number of people the percentage that were willing to do that, to write up their experience and send it out. I'm placing the number of contactees living in the millions. Worldwide.
Oh God, yeah. So
that's a big number.
So in regards to Congress, and obviously you've got the pilots. When will they actually bring up about the public? Obviously, they've brought up about radiation and what it's doing to people. When are they going to actually have that long length conversation of like, well, actually, we have got a lot of people that are witnessing it worldwide, various lives, family members and everything. When are they going to start bringing that into the equation?
It's not fair, but that's not going to be in the equation until after disclosure takes place. Admittedly, as we move further and further forward, it tends to creep in. It's like Luis Elizondo, if you listen to another statements,
I was going to bring him up.
Every once in a while, he'll refer to contact. Maybe even Mellon has done it, but it is not front and center. It is not what's driving the Congress right now. It's not what's calling for hearings. The political platform that had to be set up before disclosure could take place, and that's what's going on. They're not doing all this so they can find out what the phenomena is. I assure you, it's nothing to do with that. They're trying to set up the proper platform, laws, and everything else, so that when the president does say we're not alone, and 300 million people immediately have 5 billion questions, the U.S. government has structure and laws and everything to orderly deal with it and bring information out. But they can't tell you that. They can't, unfortunately, it's awkward, but that's their problem. They can't say. After 70 years, they can't say, look, we got to set up Arrow. We got to pass some laws because there's ETs here. They can't do that. The president is the one that confirms that. Pilots that don't count. Astronauts don't count. Scientists don't count. It has to be the president. That is what flips the switch. And all of this is in preparation for that. All right. And in order to get there, to get the members of Congress involved, to get the DOD cooperative and so forth in the services, not surprisingly, it had to be cast from the beginning of this final 7 years, going all the way back to 2017, in a national security basis. In other words, the potential threat that it could pose to our country, our people, is a legitimate potential threat. There's no question about that. But hell, the Swedes are potential threats if they suddenly, get too worked up and invade one of our embassies.
Did you say the Swedes? The Swedish?
I just happen to pick on the Swedes. Well, they used to be Vikings, and so at any time they can revert to Viking status and start raising hell. No, ETs are a potential threat, and that is the national security justification that is politically safe for high-end journalists and members of Congress to take action, pass legislation, create a caucus, and so forth. If you started seeing some of these people go online and start swapping contact stories, that would not help the process. Is it fair? No.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. because
however, there are plenty of contentees
yeah.
that have written books, they're in documentaries, they're on podcasts, they're around. They're less and less afraid to come forward, and that's another reason why I assure you, the day after disclosure, the day after the president confirms it, I guarantee you, one or more reporters in one or more briefing rooms is going to bring that up immediately. Stories about people having direct contact. Is that happening?
Yeah, right.
And the
You glitched out.
Will
be by the trillions.
Yes.
By the trillions. Yeah. Can you?
Be quiet.
Yeah. If you kind of,
you froze up there for a little bit. You know, we have a solar storm coming down, messing with our podcast.
Well, at least you're on this one tonight. I know. I always refer back to Mars Attack. It would be something like Out of Mars Attack, wouldn't it? Really be. But okay.
Mars Attacks was a cool movie. I like that movie. That's really, really cool.
You can kind of see it's going to happen. Yeah.
And there have been 600 films with ETs in them. Some of them really nasty dudes. The film industry has made fortune off the subject matter. God bless it. Billions of dollars.
That's why it's important for you doing your Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. So, you know, you've got the right script makers, the right filmmakers, producers and everything to actually put trust in to be able to do the right documentaries and produce it in the right way and to get, you know, the right, I suppose, just to be produced correctly, because we know that some of these channels, you know, one I did with the BBC was absolutely shit, you know, and you just think, no, they edited so many things out which could have been actually really good, and they put in what they want. If you have all of the independent people, then I've said that many a times, and I'm sure lots of people have, then we're actually kind of getting somewhere. So not just, you know, not just filmmakers, you know, it's the whole shebango, isn't it, really?
Well, let me elaborate. This is a somewhat almost unique project that was founded by Hollywood legend publicist Dan Harari, who has been in Hollywood for 50 years. I mean, he's met everybody, and myself. He proposed it to me, and I instantly said, "Oh yeah, we got to do this." Is to set up the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance.org. Check it out. We do have all of your bits and bobs there. Ray should be putting it up. Sorry, Ray should be putting it up. Well, I hope you have my bits. If you got the bobs, that's fine.
Yeah, we have got the bits and the bobs.
Okay. Only got the bobs. So Hollywood Disclosure Alliance was set up to do two things. One, to prepare for the fact that with disclosure will come a worldwide, massive, unprecedented demand for information, unlike anything the world has ever seen. 8 billion people, most of 8 billion people are going to want to know, whoa, what's going on?
And the rest
what about
of them.
The history? What's happening? Where are we going? Documentaries, narratives, whatever, information. They're not going to be that much interested in Alien 5, right? Halo 7, or I mean, not that they're not great. I love that stuff. The point is they're going to want to know the reality. And that is going to require a massive amount of effort on the part of professional filmmakers. Now, the problem there is that the truth embargo, which is in its 77th year, designed to keep anybody in a professional level, whether they be academics or journalists or filmmakers or anybody else, out of this issue, and stigmatize the citizens that have devoted their life to this issue, usually for very little money and much sacrifice, and keep them together so they don't put their two resources to create a lot of content, which would put pressure on the truth embargo. So the HDA is set up for people to come forward as a filmmaker, a professional filmmaker. It could be production, it could be fundraising, it could be directing, doesn't matter, acting, doesn't matter. Come forward and say, yeah, I like this issue, I'm into this issue, and they're up on the site as Hollywood founding members. Yeah. Then people and you are one, you are up there, but as a UAP founding member.
Absolutely.
These are the group that have done the citizen work.
Yeah.
And so we have two sections They're about equal. There's about 120 total, plus 20 board members, up to 140 members. It's free. They're founding members. They provided their bio and their photo and their endorsement. It's no charge. And we're accepting new members, but they need to come through the executive committee by referral. I'm one of the executive committee. Feel free to get in touch. And so now they're both up there. Right now, there's about 120 people that are saying, yeah, I'm into the UAP issue, and I'm in the film business, or I'm in the UAP issue. I'm a researcher, activist, journalist, whatever. And so they now see each other, so they can contact each other comfortably, knowing that they will be well received, and start making deals. The Hollywood Disclosure Alliance doesn't make deals. It doesn't get into contracts. It is nothing but a networker. They get together, do their thing. We wish them well. And then, but it's a multiple networking situation, because within the Hollywood founding members, they're discovering each other within the professional community. Oh, so you're into that issue. Well,
no, that's what I found as well. Yeah.
UAP people, to some degree, same thing. And then people not in the HDA, but are out there. They may not want to be a member, but they go to the website and they go, oh, that's the researcher I should talk to. Oh, that's a director or producer that actually is interested in this issue, and they'll contact them independently. So we're trying to set the basis for the massive content that needs to be created, and help ensure that the people that really know this subject, which is the citizen science research activists that wrote almost all of these books behind me and you, get to work with these professionals who will be shut out from them, and create that content. And if our colleagues happen to make some money that allows them to be comfortable and do more work and lead a proper life, I'm totally down with that.
Well, I can't remember who said it, but it's so true. They said it years and years ago, like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. There's no money in ufology. There isn't. But it's what's there that makes it all worthwhile.
But it's going to get better. Trust me, Brigitte. It's going to get better. There's already many deals underway. There are projects underway. They are going to generate money. There are many documentaries that are out there that were made strictly by UAP people with really not that much of a connection to what we'll call the professional film industry, that have made excellent money. Having access to, well, let me just give you an example. A couple of years ago, I mean, this has been in development for some time. HDA is not like we're the ones that are letting
Hollywood Disclosure Alliance.
We're not the ones. They've known about this issue forever. They just weren't willing to get into the nonfiction that much. But within the last couple of years, that's all changed. So, but well before the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance was formed, one of the top producers in all of the industry, J.J. Abrams, and his Bad Robot production facility, took on a project to put out a series, 4-part series called UFO on Showtime. It was the highest rated series in the history of Showtime. No shock there. They usually are extremely high rated, which means they can make money. And so that was a nonfiction series. It had some mistakes in it that could have been avoided if they had talked to some of the people that you and I know. Okay. Now, even closer to when the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance, a relatively well-known guy by the name of Steven Spielberg, he put out what I believe is his first nonfiction series or product called Encounters.
The Encounters.
It was a narrative fiction.
That was great.
Which included a lot of interesting material and this was 2002. But this is recent. It's called Encounters and it did extremely well.
It's actually put together really, really well. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yes, one big mistake in the 4th episode. But so here are 2 huge people that are doing that. Okay, great. And I'm glad, and I want them to do it. But I want them to understand that there's an enormous resource out there in people that have spent decades working on this issue while you are making lots of other movies and stuff. And the stigma's gone. You need to reach out to them and bring them in. Let them consult. Let them work with you. Let them help write screenplays or rather teleplays or whatever. Don't punish them even more because the government stigmatized them, right, for all these decades. These are great people. They're talented people. So that's what the HDA is trying to do. And right now, we are actually a fully accredited 501c3 nonprofit. So anybody who pays U.S. taxes, what we're looking for now, because Dan and I put this all together with our own money, We're looking for a Kickstarter. Somebody that could come in with enough money so that we could get going and do some events and things that would be very appropriate. Could be as little as $20,000. They get a tax write-off, and then that would launch us. And as we start doing events, our ability to track more funding. That's why they call it a Kickstarter. We're looking for that person. We know they're out there. If they go to HollywoodDisclosure.org, they can see the donate page, or they can contact Dan or I for more information and do something through us. In any event, it will be a tax-deductible donation to Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. That's where because we put it together. It's working fine. Everybody is happy. We're getting media coverage. A huge article in the Los Angeles Times is coming. We've been written up in the Washingtonian. So we're doing everything right. But funding just doesn't fall in your lap. You've got to ask for it, and you've got to be persistent.
Now, haven't you got Contact in the Desert soon, in a couple of months? But isn't that out in California?
Couple of
this
weeks.
time, couple of weeks. Is it a couple of weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks time.
And I'm like,
it's all right. I've been there.
Yeah, I've been helping to produce it as part of the team, and I'm thrilled to be able to do that. Wonderful people.
So can you not? Well, you're obviously going to say something there about it. You have so many people, inconspicuous people, sitting there, coming in, paying their tickets, that just waiting and watching. You never know who's in that crowd.
2,000 people. It is not cheap. It is at one of the finest resorts. Let me tell you, how fine a resort is it? You ready for the name? The Indian Wells Renaissance Esmeralda Resort and Spa.
Bit of a mouthful.
So you know that puppy's in a really big swimming pool, don't you? You know. So, but it's it's going to be a hell of a 4 or 5 days. We have 70 speakers, 14 panels. There's going to be a huge banquet. Other events, I mean, videos, but here's the killer, and it's my fault, right? Ask and you shall receive. I have what they call a 101 primer lecture on Thursdays.
Well, you had a 404 earlier, error code.
Yeah, so I've got that. Then I've got a regular lecture, and then I've got a workshop. Okay. 2 workshops, one me and one with the actor Thomas Jane, and then I'm moderating 2 panels. I'm on a 3rd panel, and I've got a 2.5 hour intensive on Monday, and I have to get all this together in the next 12 days. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
You don't sleep anyway, so it's nothing that you can't handle anyway. So can I ask? So yes. Thomas Jane is an actor. Tell me, how did he get into it? Has he had experiences himself?
Thomas is a great guy. He is one of the least assuming, cool, laid back actors in Hollywood. Very under. I don't think that he's given his due. He's done a huge body of work. He's particularly well known for the incredible sci-fi series called Expanse. That I think ran either Amazon or Netflix. It's still missing one last year that everybody wants. He was in Deep Blue Sea. He has a huge IMDb page. Check it out. He's kind of like Keanu Reeves. He's just a grounded guy, right? He's been into the issue for years and years. Okay. Yeah. He used to come to my ET media groups back in 2012-13, where I first met him. And so when we approached him, he wanted on big time. So he is on the board. He is going to be very active at the Contact in the Desert. He's helping to promote this. We also have an Oscar winner on our Hollywood founder.
Go on then.
And that is, of course, Shirley MacLaine.
Is she going to be there as well?
She can't be there because, believe it or not, at 80, I think, age, she's working on 2 or 3 movies. This is a very formidable woman.
Well, she's so super spiritual, isn't she? So amazing. Oh, wow.
And she was right way before.
She was. Absolutely. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Not afraid of anything. She said what she said. She said what she saw. People go, yeah. Yeah, she just went on, made more movies, won another Oscar, and it has her website. We would love to hopefully have her join us at some point, but she's busy right now. But she's a member. And we have a number. Well, we have most of the members.
I'm looking at them all. Yeah, some of them. Yeah.
Including you. Most of the members, both Hollywood and UAP together, have IMDb pages. Because the people in our world have really done what they could to make content, and IMDb does not
Still
bias.
here. Yep. Still here 30 years on talking about it. Still having encounters.
That's right. So that's the HollywoodDisclosureAlliance.org. Very proud of it. But it is still vulnerable. It was launched on November the 3rd, so it's still young. We need that Kickstarter, that person that thinks that this is really worthwhile, and it is, and righteous, because it is a nonprofit. We're hoping to be able to run this strictly on funding. And so that's the next big step for us.
And then you've got something else you're going off to do on a you called it as your vacation, but it isn't. It's a booze cruise, a UFO booze cruise.
Now it'll be a shrimp cocktail cruise for me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have turned down about 4 or 5 of these because they were structured in a way that didn't fit with my activist posture. This one is Susan Shumsky has done a number of these. She's a pro at it, and she put together one that was kind of organized in a way that I really liked. And I said, okay, God knows need a vacation. And so September 6th to September 13th, I'm getting on a giant cruise ship called Sign Up.
But what happens if the White House needs you?
Repeat that, because you froze again.
I said, what happens if the White House needs you?
What did you say?
What happens if the White House needs you?
I'm not too worried about that. My friend and colleague Danny Sheehan will handle any White House inquiries.
Okay.
He's all over the hill. He's so deep into this.
Yeah, he is.
I should mention. Oh yeah. Now I should mention that one of the most important developments of the last 7 years is the fact that after many years of trying to get this together, because of the developments of the last few years, he finally did it, and he launched the New Paradigm Institute. The New Paradigm Institute is a think tank, 501c3, and it's going to be the premier think tank of the post-disclosure world. If you go to it, it's already gotten substantial funding, but believe me, it tends to raise millions more. If you go to newparadigminstitute.org, you will see a glimpse of what they're doing. They're already building a huge group of lawyers who are volunteering to deal with certain things. They have a growing group of academic advisors. This is the real deal. Paradigm Research Group is now a 501c3.
So what are we talking? Lawyers. So what? So what we want when we want to sue the government for what's happened to us?
Well, again, academics, lawyers. This is a full service think tank. The lawyers are gathering around because one of the things the New Paradigm Institute is going to do is assist witnesses. Again, witnesses, by and large, whistleblowers are extremely rare. Witnesses that are coming forward, need some advice, have issues, whatever. They will be able to provide services like that pro bono. And that's and again, also legislation. Danny is writing some legislation right now. Can't say what it is, but he's writing it, and there will be more legislation, much more, after disclosure. In other words, the UAP Disclosure Act, which will eventually get passed. I'm sorry, defense contractors, but you're going to ultimately lose this one, and probably will even keep the eminent domain provision. That is the key structural law that will orderly bring forward everything ultimately the government has classified on the ET issue, everything, tech, bodies, files, everything, out into the public arena, maybe not right away, maybe delayed, and then eventually archived. That is there. However, after disclosure, when the world is going to change in incalculable ways, there is going to be a huge need for any number of laws to address this new paradigm, and the New Paradigm Institute.
And actually, things that we probably had never even thought about as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, good God, thoughts that go around in your head, you think no, but there are experiences that you think this is not right. It's a bit like whether you've sadly, this is horrible to say, whether you've been raped and you've got to go public, or you've and talk about your encounter or anything like that, you know, the aftermath for yourself personally, you know, you've got to sort of like put it into context. And it's like you're thinking, questions just arise of like, through all of the experiences, not that I've had, but that everyone else has had, it will just open up so much that people wouldn't have even thought about.
Well, after disclosure, first of all, it will be even more easy for contactees to come forward. There will be no stigma there, and they will be in high demand. Though there's still some that they're more comfortable not being public at all. That is, of course, their choice. But after disclosure, the contactees are going to become extremely important, because they are the people, and there are a large number of them, assuming they have memories.
Yeah.
They have had direct contact with the extraterrestrials we're about to have confirmed that are here. And
they're just going to be walking straight up to us soon, if not now, and they are now.
So that's firsthand testimony, and so everybody is going to want to know all of this information. The academics are going to want to know. Certainly, journalists are going to want to know, and just your neighbors and friends are want to know. And so they're going to be in tremendous demand. They're going to be well respected, well regarded, and they will be able to, I think, get some closure and tell their story and what have you. That is something I'm certain is going to happen.
But they used to do it, didn't they? They used to get all the academics together at Harvard and various things and put people together, because you've got my alien discussions. That was all put together.
Mine's right over here. Mine's right over there.
I mean, so heavy. You don't need to go to the gym. You can just pick that up. Can't you? It's like,
that
oh
was
my
1992, and
that was
it wasn't a bunch of academics. It was John Mack.
Oh, it was John Mack, but it was some other, quite a few other people that were involved in it.
Well,
but it was a lot of witnesses' accounts, wasn't it? And drawings and thoughts.
It was a symposium put on at the MIT campus.
That's at MIT.
Was part of it. A number of researchers and contactees were there. It was way ahead of its time.
Exactly, it was. Why not now?
And I can assure you that all of the academics at MIT and Harvard fled into the corners, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of stayed away. And John Mack stood alone. And of course, then Harvard tried to. So let me tell you, the academic community is way behind on this. That was a blip made possible because John Mack was a righteous, honest, important man and a hero. But I'm afraid the vast academic community almost exclusively are completely cowards on this issue. Now, they're going to get their spine, I'm sure, after disclosure, since the academic possibilities in a post-disclosure world are practically infinite. And they'll jump in, joyously and get grants and get, write white papers and whatever the hell, and act like they just found out. I had no idea, right? I'm not happy about that. I'm going to give them some grief about that. We need an academic community. We have 5,000 colleges. That's not going to just go, the moment the government says, well, you don't want to go there. Oh, no, of course not. I wouldn't want to go there. That's not why we created America. That's not what America is about, is to have a bunch of academic community that are scared to death if the government goes boo. And on this issue, they have failed us for 77 years. Now they're coming around, led by men like Gary Nolan, the Nobel Prize nominee at Stanford and geneticist. He just founded the Soul Foundation, which is basically a scientific think tank. Things are happening, Brigitte, so fast. I cannot keep up with them. So many YouTube videos and podcasts are happening.
Yeah, right. I know.
And this is just moving forward like an avalanche. And the Defense Department is looking at this massive avalanche and going,
shit.
Shit! There's nothing to this, really.
Yeah.
Someone should stop. Please stop.
Yeah. I know. In some ways, the internet is amazing, but some ways it isn't. But wow, it is working in our favor. It is working. Well, it is and it isn't. But like you say, there's a lot of truth, but there's a lot of disinformation out there, as obviously.
Well, there always has been that. However, now it's easier to share the truth and share the disinformation. That's just a fact of our life. So it's a tool, and we haven't had this tool very long. So we should be a little kind on ourselves. We're really screwing with it, and it's causing problems. Eventually, I think we will start to understand that this is perhaps the most powerful invention in the history of the human race up to date. AI in its full blown capacity might surpass it, though frankly, it's mostly going to integrate with the internet. And so it's dangerous because it's powerful. And so we need to learn how to use it well. And hopefully we will do that in the next generation.
Please put your links up down there.
Yes. There I am. And so,
only 50 minutes late, right? It's only 50 minutes late with it. Bless him.
Again, activism has never been, well, maybe this way. Internet and certain social media, particularly Twitter, Twitter X, I prefer to call it, are some of the most powerful activist tools ever. They allow things that earlier activists in the 20th century couldn't have dreamed of being able to do. And so to the extent that we start using the internet to get justice and get authorities to do the right thing, the internet is a blessing. But it will
until they switch it off.
Well, you know, I wouldn't want to be the politician that makes that maneuver. It would not go well. Right.
Don't think they say who done it.
Very fond.
Well, there are other ways anyway, aren't there? There are other ways of getting your message across, in which we all do. So Contact in the Desert's 2 weeks' time. What is the dates for that? From where do people go for that? I do think I have the information for Contact in the Desert. When is the date for the
May 30 to June 3? Okay,
oh wow, so it's quite some while, right? If it's quite a few days.
It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's 5 days.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
The hotel, unfortunately, is completely booked, but there are dozens and dozens of hotels and so forth around. And this year, and this is very important. I don't know why, but this is the first year that the conference has done this.
You've got less than 1 minute to wrap it up.
We're offering day passes. So if you live in Orange County or Los Angeles, you can drive over and get a day pass, right?
Oh my God.
And then stay or come back or whatever the hell you want to do. Couldn't do that before. So there's about 15 million people over there. Y'all come, okay? Contact in the Desert, Palm Springs, Indian Wells. I'll be there.
I love Palm Springs. Oh my gosh. Next year.
Come visit me, dear. I will personally escort you around.
I bet you would. Yeah, I'd love to go over. I love Palm Springs. It's so nice. Right. Okay, so the dates for, well, actually, everyone needs to go to paragramresearchgroup.org or the HollywoodDisclosureAlliance.org, or actually, you've got some amazing stuff on youtube.com, Paradigm Research Group 9257. Been watching some stuff on that. So
contactatSea.com. Come on a cruise with me to Alaska. Maybe we'll just stay up there and not get back on the boat, right? That's an option. I've considered it, right? Contactinthesea.com. Give him my name. Tell him Steve sent you.
You
get some extra hors d'oeuvres and shrimp cocktail.
I think you have me on the shrimp cocktail. Right. Okay. Listen, thank you ever so much, Steve, for joining us tonight on Naked Truth. And you're just going to be such a busy lad. So take it easy on yourself. Slow down when you need to. All right. Okay. And because we need you in this, you're so vitally important to us, and you always have been. And I'm trying to make headways with you trying to get over to Scotland for September, but that is what me and you are going to talk about. I am going to working on that.
Never been to Scotland. Got to go there, right?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to sort that out right now. Right. Okay, listen. Thank you ever so much. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And look after yourself, Steve. Take it easy. And thank you for being you and doing what you're doing, because it is so vitally important to each and every single one of us in ufology. All right. Cheers and ad astra. All right. See you later. All right. Bye. Thanks, guys. And thank you for listening in to The Naked Truth. Myself, Bridget Buckley, and Mr. Steve Bassett. See you later. Bye.